Welcome to Destination History on Destination Uri, and today we've come to historic Greencastle in County Down, and we're going to be meeting the loch pilot here, Leo Cunningham, and Leo is going to take us out on the pilot boat in Carlingford Lough to the mouth of the loch at the Hunter Buoy, where we will then retrace the journey of the SS Alder to the point where she anchored and sank out here off Greencastle on the 4th of April 1937. Now we're with the loch pilot Leo Cunningham at the entrance to Carlingford Lough and subsequently to the Newry navigation, and we're on the pilot boat here, and we're coming up to the Hunter Buoy, which is the leading buoy on Carlingford Lough. And Leo, tell us, what does this buoy mark?
It's the Hunter Buoy, James. It's the probably now that what you would call the fairway buoy. It's marking the shallow water reefs just outside the loch here. There's a line of reefs just running towards the keel from here, and very shallow water.
And tell me, Leo, what depth of water are we talking about?
It's only like 1.5 metres of water, of no water, on the shallowest part on the Hunter reef.
And at high tide, what type of clearance would you be talking about on a typical ship coming in here?
Yeah, well, you wouldn't. The normal ship, the buoy marks the rock, so it's a south cardinal buoy, which means you stay to the south of the buoy, which keeps you clear of the rock.
Right.
You know,
and this is the entrance then to the buoy channel in Carlingford Lough.
That's right. Yeah, from here towards the loch now you get onto the leading lights, and that guide you towards the channel for the first buoys, number 1 and number 2 buoy.
Now we're looking, Leo. We're retracing the journey that the SS Alder would have made in 1937, and how difficult would navigation have been back then?
It would have been extremely difficult. There's no radar. They were going on a magnetic compass, probably just judging their speed with time and distance, time with speed, and it'd be very difficult. Yeah, different times to what we have now.
So really, good seamanship was very necessary.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And the local knowledge, of course, then was all important. A man like Bobby Campbell, who had that intimate local knowledge, and the Newry men who navigated as well with fishers at the time, they all had that local knowledge.
Definitely, yeah. And knowing the tides and the run of the tide and all of that too, yeah, definitely.
Well, Leo, I remember your own father, Willie John, coming to Newry, piloting ships, particularly the timber boats. And how did you get involved in this job?
Well, I got involved through my father and my brothers, and sort of passed on. And I was only 16 when my father turned sick, and I left school to help out in the pilot boat. Sort of developed on from there. So,
how long are you doing this job now?
To give my age away now, James. But, 32 years now. Yeah.
And tell me, Leo, what is the biggest ship you've taken into Carlingford Lough?
The biggest ships, the biggest ship would have been into Green Ore. We're talking 35,000 ton deadweight, upwards of 200 metres long. So that would have been the biggest so far. That is the maximum you can have into the likes of Green Ore.
And tell me, Leo, has there ever been times when you were a bit nervous or worried? Or I asked Mickey Fern, was he ever afraid, and he rubbished me.
No, you know what you have to do and you do it. But the scariest times, I suppose, is trying to maybe get on ships or leave ships, get down a pilot ladder into the boat in a bad night. That's the worst bit. Once you're on board, you're all right. You know what you have to do and you do it. You know what you're capable of.
Well, just when you mentioned the bad nights, Leo, and I'm sure you have many a bad night coming in here, but of course, as you say, different days and all the modern aids and the comforts that indeed people have now. But I was thinking of the Connemara Retriever disaster in 1916, when Captain O'Neill would have been standing on an open bridge on the Retriever after 16 hours of a crossing coming from Garston. And could you even begin to imagine, given your own experiences, what something like that must have been like?
That must have been tough. You know, those were hard men, tough men. Definitely were. It's a whole different ball game now. You wouldn't be allowed to do that sort of thing now with rules and regulations, hours of rest, all these things come into it now.
And how would you estimate the capabilities of those seamen?
Those were excellent seamen. There's no doubt about that. Those men aren't about today. Definitely not.
Thanks very much, Leo. Well, we're back on terra firma again after our trip out to the Heli Hunter, and we're standing on the pier, the wooden pier at Greencastle here, and this was actually built way back in 1880, Leo, by the railway company, isn't that right?
1880, that's right, with the LNWR, was it the London North West Railway Company?
Yeah.
In connection with Green Ore, and from this pier there was two old paddle steamer like passenger boats, and carried bits of cargo back and forward from here to Green Ore. I suppose many of the person emigrated from here in them days, got on the ferry in Green Ore and off to Holyhead. So
well, the railway company, the railway started in Green Ore in 1873, and as you say, the London and North West Railway Company they were the people in charge of it, and they operated the steamer service. You brought us to the wreck site there of the Connemara, and really and truly, it must be remembered that primarily they were a railway company, and they were used to schedules. And you'd wonder that night. Everybody talks about the night that the Connemara sank, and it was alleged to be the worst night in 80 years in the loch. And you'd wonder at a passenger ship sailing in conditions like that. But again, schedules dictate a lot, don't they?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I suppose at that time, the boat, the Connemara, was probably a well-capable ship at that time for the service she was providing. And she really was. I remember my father talking about that you would hear the ship going out, and you could nearly set your clock. You know, a lot of people just used it as a timepiece. They knew what time she came and she went. So yeah, that was the way it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this pier's listed now, Leo, isn't it?
It is. It's a listed building now, and no, it's still serving its purpose here and standing the test of time.
Well, there's no doubt about it. It's just we saw the lighthouse earlier on, and it was built in 1824.
1824. That's right. Yeah.
And as good as the day it went up.
Certainly is. Yeah. It certainly is.
A tribute to Moore and Granite, and more importantly, the men who built it.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, great craftsmen, great men. Yeah. Had to be.
Now, your family is actually responsible now for the lighthouse and the maintenance of the buoys.
Aye, the family's involved in that. Yeah, my eldest brother, Sean, he looks after he's the attendant for the lighthouse, and he looks after general upkeep of it and keeps an eye on things. I'm sure everything's working. And
does he maintain the buoys as well then?
No,
Leo?
Another brother, Thomas. He works on the buoy boat. He's the skipper on the buoy boat, and is the local harbour master as well, and looks after the buoys. So he looks after all that.
So between the three brothers, you look after the shipping rights and Carlingford Lough.
We're all involved in it. We're all involved, yeah, one way or another.
And you were telling us there earlier on, you've two ships waiting outside to come into Greenoore.
That's right. It's a couple of ships waiting. Yeah, waiting for their berth, waiting on their turn. Whenever their berth becomes free, and slot them in.
So you're kept busy all the time then, Leo?
It comes and goes. You tend to get a rush maybe for a week or so, and then it goes a bit quiet, and you get a few more coming. It just seems to be the trend of the way things are going at the minute.
Now we spoke about Greenoore, and obviously the Greenoore has a great depth of water over there, but Warren Point is performing well and varied cargoes, and of course the Ro-Ro is the mainstay of the port, isn't it?
It is. The Ro-Ro is definitely the mainstay of the port, and they've two container services running now steady, and there's still a lot of grain and timber and steel, so it seems to be going well at the minute now. It definitely is. But the ferry trade is doing well. Mm-hmm. It seems to be moving a lot of cargo. But yeah, it's a good port. It's a busy port.
But it's it's a very, very competitive market out there, isn't it, Leo?
It must be. Yeah, it has to be. It has to be. It's just a sign of the times.
Tell me, just something that intrigues me. How do you become informed of arrivals to the loch?
Well, every ship coming has a shipping agent, and the shipping agent is his responsibility to keep everybody informed, and pilots, harbour, everybody. So it's through the shipping agent, which we built up a good relationship with them over the years and work with them. And
they coordinate the ship's passage in and out with yourself.
Yeah, they inform us of whatever time the ship's arriving, and then we kind of take it from there, and we arrange them whatever, depending on the draft of the ship and how heavy she is, you know, what time she can come in on the tide and so on and so forth.
And now you're getting help from the next generation also.
Next generation's coming on behind too, yeah. Thank God.
You have 2 sons engaged with you.
2 sons, yeah. So yeah, they're coming on. They're both licensed now on the lock, and yeah, good help, good to see it.
So
keep it in the family.
so the legacy of Willie John lives on.
It does, definitely does, yeah. For another generation anyway.
And good to see it, and long may it continue, Leo. Thank you very much. Leo Cunningham, Carlingford Lough pilot.
Alright, James, thank you.
Thank you, Leo.
Good man, thank you.
Well, Paddy, you were with us there, Paddy McCann, former Newry seaman. Brought back a few memories for you, Paddy.
Sure did. Lovely out there today. Just took back old memories. Very nice, very nice. The few hours went like a minute.
I heard you talking, Paddy, about swimming in the loch when you were lying at anchor.
Oh, I remember the time there, but sure, the water was that cold you couldn't swim. It was very appetising when you seen the sun out and that, when you dive in, you thought you were diving into a bucket of ice. And that's for sure. No, I tried it once or twice, far too cold.
Well, tell me, Paddy, we talked earlier on with Leo about bad nights and one thing and another. I'm sure there was many a night you were glad to see that lighthouse flashing when you were coming out of the Irish Sea.
Okay, but sure, it's like everything else. It's like the same as you hear of a woman having a baby, she tells you it's going to be her last, and you say the same thing, no more, and the next thing you're out in it again. Not at all, no. It's like water under the duck's back. It's just one of them things. You either have it or you don't have it.
Well, Paddy, to get back to your old mate Mickey Fearn, were you ever afraid?
Never. The way I always seen it was, no matter what job you done, always remember one for yourself and one for the company. Never put the 2 for the company, and you'll not go wrong.
Paddy, thanks very much.
Welcome.
I'm joined here in Greencastle now by Jim Graham. And Jim's a Cologne man and an ex-merchant seaman, an engineer in fact. And Jim worked his way through the ranks and was a chief engineer. Jim, did you enjoy your trip this morning?
Yes, I did indeed. Very informative.
And of course, your seafaring career took you far away from Carlingford Lough.
Yes, our main run would have been China and Japan, and sailing from Liverpool, so we never came even to Ireland at all.
Now, your era at sea was when?
1949 to 97.
Now, during those years, was there many seamen in the Mourne region then?
Well, there would have been, but I didn't sail with any of them.
Yeah, I know you didn't sail, but was there many seamen?
There were many seamen.
In the coasting trade?
Coasting and deep sea. Yeah, both.
Yeah. There was a Captain Milligan from Cologne, was in oil tankers, wasn't he?
Yes, I knew him, yes. He was in oil tankers through the war.
Very good. And tell me, Jim, after you retired, you were involved here with the Carlingford Lough Commissioners.
That's correct, yes. I designed their boat for the tents of the boys, navigation boys in Carlingford Lough, and supervised the building of it in Scotland. And I look after it still just day to day.
That's of course the Sleeve Bond.
Sleeve Band, yes.
And tell me, what year was that built?
It was delivered in 1992.
And it's been working on the lock service in the boys since.
Yes.
And which of the Cunningham brothers looks after that?
Thomas Cunningham. He's the skipper and the harbour master of Carlingford Lough.
And you still attend, take an interest in the tug?
A day a week or something like that.
Very good. Well, tell me, Jim, If you don't mind me asking, you're a very fit and active man. What age are you?
Well, I'll be 80 on my next birthday in November.
And still keeping your hand in.
Yes, I still enjoy it.
Well, that's the main thing. You enjoy it.
Yep.
Jim, thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.